Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Writing to Heal. Does your body of work keep score about what goes on in your life as much as your actual physical body does? I've been rereading a certain book again, can't you tell? Let's go ahead and have a chat about it. Hello there, everybody. Welcome on back to Writing to Heal and the Soul Bard Collective. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am indeed your soul writer, and whether it's here or over on my main channel, welcome on in. Here we discuss the woo-woo, the esoteric, the theory, the psychology, sociology, metaphysicality of writing, whereas on my main channel, we talk more about like business applications and actual practice in motion. So welcome on in to today's topic for Writing to Heal. We're kind of reflecting on a book that I have read a lot since it came out in 2015. The education world really loved on this book a lot. The Body Keeps Score, Brain, Mind, Body, and Healing of Trauma. And it made me realize that so many of us as adults are doing more than what we realize in our own bodies of work to do very much the same. Jess is here. Hello. And so is my friend Sam. I hope you're both doing really, really well. So why is it so important that healing journeys exist through storytelling? Well, honestly, humans have long been telling stories, even way before we had a common written language to communicate in without talking to each other. Okay, I'm talking like way back in the caveman days. Not only were we drawing stuff on walls that were stories, but we were sitting around fires. I mean, I still love going to bonfires and miss doing bonfires with friends and family during the summers for this very reason. I have a lot of Irish people in my heritage who like to gather around ye old family fire and chat every day, is what I'm admitting, right? So, therefore, stories are going to take you on a journey, and likely it's going to heal something within someone in the group. This is why Studio Ghibli and Pixar and XYZ studios and production companies have movies that get watched again and 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 again. There's this channel or two here on YouTube where they show splashes of if you were a kid in the early 2000s, late 90s, and the 80s, you probably remember blank. And they showed a reel of all these movies I forgot about, like Rock-a-Doodle. And I'm like, oh my God, nerdy little me loved Rock-a-Doodle as a kid. Why? Because we all have been on crazy shenanigan adventures with our friends before. That's why My Little Toaster is like one of the most emotionally cathartic movies ever. This is why every single time I watch Inside Out, thank you Pixar, I'm going to sob my eyes out with Bing Bong, and it's going to be a harder cry the older I get, not a softer one. You get what I mean? They hit points. They know their pain points. They know what emotional catharsis they're providing, and they lean into those moments. This is why when writing the Myrna Annals, I almost love writing scenes where my sibling characters are together more so than my romantic characters. Not a pyro, not a pyro, not a pyro, nope. You just love that too, but your allergies flare up really bad and smoke. See, yeah, with the bonfires, exactly. If you can tolerate being in the company of. I mean, goodness gracious. This is why some of us get together virtually and play Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, Jenna is considering asking someone I know to get together and authors play together on the computer. Just saying. No, Jenna's not DMing. That's all I'm saying. Jenna's not DMing. No. No, that'd be too crazy. But this is going back to what I was saying earlier. This is why I enjoy writing sibling banter and sibling moments almost more than the romantic moments in my books, and it shows. I'm very much like the sisters from Frozen in regard when it comes to, You can come over here. It's cold. Sit next to me and you can legit cuddle with me because you're my sibling. I was considering that on purpose for reasons. We'll say that. I want an unbiased party who doesn't know anybody to run the game for a reason. Nothing against anyone personally. I just think it'll be more hijinks. Simply that. I like party banter, okay? And the person I know, I'm just going to have to make sure I tell him, limit the amount of cursing he does to make my editing easier. Anywho, that's for another channel and another day discussion. On the other hand, what emotional binds do I like to talk about with my siblings? It comes up in book 2 when Frey goes missing. You can tell the other 3, even though they've been blood-bound siblings and have only known each other together as a collective for about a couple months to a year. They've been through some stuff, and they've been through some stuff because not exactly trauma bonding, but soldiers and warriors get to know each other quickly. Can I trust you? Because my life is on the line here. And when Frey Bamfin goes missing in book 2, Ian, Vovry, and Hotomy, if one of them is asleep, the other 2 are awake. Why? Just in case. If all 3 of them are asleep, it means somebody else that they really trust, one of the elders, one of the winged ones, is watch and guard, and they're not all 3 asleep very long because already one of them is missing. When things happen at the end of book 3 that rips them way apart, it drives a 5-year rift of that discomfort between them. So I love writing that stuff so much. So they can go home and cry, who are these people? Well, that's Ian at the beginning of book 1. He learns who he can trust his siblings quick, but the banter grows from there. And I just love literally, like, if I need a silly moment, I got to get some of my sibling characters together. Velmica, hi, honey. Remind you told your husband of your project you're working on and the party banner hijinks going on a total chaos. See, one, I watched a lot of Robin Williams and a lot of Jim Carrey growing up is why I put so much hijinks in my dark books. A lot of you are like, yep, that resonates given both of their careers as versatile of a character as they can play. You can see how that has impacted the characters I write. I would venture to say that some of you probably also, the Generation MASH, I can always tell of the writers who are like, 10 to 20 years older than I am in their 40s and 50s. I can always tell like how much MASH they wrote because their battle scene banter is very Hawkeye Pierce-like, if you know that show. Very, very deadpan direct and well-timed. It's like, yep, I can tell certain things like that because of the emotional pulls that are given with those cathartic effects. You don't have to be, oh my God, the world is ending for the moment to be emotional catharsis. You don't. You can literally go the opposite direction. I'm looking at you, Ace Ventura. I'm looking at you, Mrs. Doubtfire. Opposite direction. Humor was the medicine that was preferred to do the healing in those regards, is why I say it that way. So when it comes to writing your whatever is going on in life, we shall say, writing through it with your body of work, you might have some mental clarity and focus on your life. Like, we often say this about writing in reverse. If I'm feeling blocked on my writing, then I need to go ahead and refocus myself on something else. For me, I might go clean for a bit. I might go plan for a bit. Maybe you go play video games for a bit. And that whole, is it Einstein? Or Jefferson, who used to say, take a break and it'll come to me later if I'm stuck on something. That kind of applies in reverse to the stressors of life. If something is really, 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 really stressing me out to the point that I can't sleep at night, normally if I come down here or pull up paper and pen in the living room and just start writing it out. Maybe it's not my characters, maybe it is. Maybe I'm just journaling. There's still just something about knowing I can always do that brain dump for multiple reasons, and no, it never has to go out into the public eye because I have control of that big time, right? So writing there for, you're taking your thoughts, and I used to say this so much in public education as a high school English and developmental reading teacher. The part of the reason why some of us stress so much is because there's too much in our brain. Your brain can only handle about 4 to 7 tasks, juggling the plates all at one time. So, or if you like the kitchen stove metaphor, you only have about 4 to 7 burners you can run at one time, and no, you cannot run them all at full blast because you'll run out of whatever is powering you, right? So writing them down takes what is not tangible, because that's what's stressing you out, is it's not yet tangible. So it's like clogging up the line cook's highway of getting stuff done. Just go do a brain dump and make it tangible, because normally once you can put your hand on it and you give that kinesthetic feel to it, your body's able to go, okay, my brain is now feeling a lot more empty. I can breathe. My heart can go slower. Okay. And especially if I'm really upset, this is all the more so where I'm going to reach for a pen. One, if I break the pen, that's cheaper than breaking my computer or my cell phone or my tablet. Two, rage writing with a pen is such a more satisfying thing than rage typing to me. This is something that is kind of lost on certain generations, so I'll give this comparison. Slamming a phone nowadays does not have the same feeling like it once did when you would end a call. It is actually a danger to the phone. Because a lot of us remember, I'm in my late 30s, we remember what it's like to have that landline and to slam it back down onto its receiving cradle. There's something so satisfying, like slamming a door, right? Like Dorothy's Bornak kicking Stan out of the house in The Golden Girls. Slam! That has a satisfying ring to it. Yes! I, as a teacher, always preferred to call home on the school's landline. One, I don't want my students nor their parents having my number. Yes, I know *7 whatever still works on cell phones. Anyway, this was the reason why I preferred to use the school's office phone, because I could always click, click, and leave the conversation there and go about my day. Lamika, you agree to rage pen writing. It's so satisfying. And if I break the pen or the pen runs out of ink or whatever, so be it. I feel even better. That's just me. But this is just some of the tiny little catharsis things writing can give us. And you may or may not even be writing for your fictional characters. I can definitely tell when some of my writer friends do their Substack, their Medium, their Ko-fi, their Patreon, their whatever routine posts, and they're having a funkalunky day, and I'm getting really good at being more self-aware of myself, and therefore taking those social media out days accordingly. So it can bleed into our writing that we even do for our business. And this is something that my coach, Matt Schaefer, talks about quite a bit, is your intentionality bleeds into it, whether or not you realize it or not. So be careful. Sam, sometimes the pen running out of ink helps you to yes. I also am I'm one of those people who it's like a goal to drain a pen. It's like a life goal for me to drain as many as I can. My students used to have a pen cup of all the pens I drained in a school year. And however many I drained was how much I had to donate to the prom, $1 a pen. It was like $56 one year. That was the last year I did that. Don't tell Cheesecake Man. Because there was a lot of pens that year. So I know I can make it a high on the gel velocity ones that last long. Yeah. Star 6.9 or star 6.7, star 7.6, something like that. Something like that. It still works on cell phones. But at the same time, there's spiritual benefits to writing. I mean, I literally use tarot cards to write for Frey for a reason now. And a lot of people are like, he's not your most religious character. That's his brother Vovary, who can't let the Catholic habits go. And I'm like, yeah, but that's a purposeful comparison difference. Vovary is all into like the spirituality of the meditative properties of the Catholic religion, i.e., he likes going to mass because he can go there and chill and look at the pretty windows. Guilty, that was me growing up. I loved going to mass as a kid. One of the few things I loved about that was just pretty music, pretty colors on the walls because of the windows. That's my favorite holdover from going to church, and therefore it's in him. But that's more of a spirituality thing, not so like he could go to any other building where there is secular music going on with pretty non-religious stained glass windows and still feel that same catharsis, i.e. phrase bar many, many centuries later, right? Jess, Sam, you never used that one unless it was a prank call. Yes. I was just gonna say, isn't this the one we pranked called everybody with? So that way if their parents answered, you wouldn't get in too much trouble. Right, exactly. So with the spirituality end, for some people, religion and spirituality, or spirituality and some form of ritual that may or may not be pertain to what a religion ties to their brand of spirituality, I guess would be a very long-winded way to say it correctly. It lets you share insights on your purpose, and we all do that in our body of work. All of us have a character with a little bit of personal bleed in some way. Okay. I bet if we went through every single one of our characters, we would say, oh yeah, Ian is my workaholic side that needs someone to cuddle with when he gets home. Nefteri is the queen who doesn't want to be queen. I hate being the older sister. The only sister is what I'm saying. Rochelle is my blank. Bjorn is like, you can see where each and every, you could compartmentalize down and get the seedling for a new person. That happens a lot more easily in nonfiction writing, especially if you're writing something like self-help, memoir, or things of that nature, professional development even. So offer just some time to yourself. Please give yourself an environment where you can sit down that is sacred to your creativity. When I first started my other channel, it was literally a 5-foot square area corner of a tiny bedroom, literally big enough to fit a desk. It wasn't until we moved a year and a half, 2 years into that channel running that I even had a room to put my whole studio in. Now I have a third of the basement. It starts with a seedling. It starts on a back burner. It then becomes one of those 4 to 7 important tasks to your daily habits for a little while. You spend time with it, you nurture it, and maybe you heal yourself unintentionally or hopefully intentionally, and maybe your readers and content consumers along the way benefit from that too. Your souls have always, always, always been worth it. So definitely make sure you're taking care of yourself, my friend. Your voice matters. Dang it.